Happy Sunday. It's 23rd of January 2022, and I'm really happy to be here today because I wanted to make this small video and share with you some thoughts that I had, which I would like you guys to reflect on and let me know what you think about. And these are about the interviews that Cathie had with Samarth Kulkarni, the CEO of CRISPR, and I had put them on this channel in one of my earlier videos. And at that time, I was not thinking the way I'm thinking right now. I had this epiphany, and I'll cue up the video. I'll meet you on the other side and have a quick chat with you about it.
Couldn't be more excited as well, Sam. And yet we're faced with a situation where macro factors are determining the recent course of the genomics companies. We do believe we're in a genomics revolution, and to be honest, it's shocking to see CRISPR Therapeutics stock and other stocks in the genomic space they've been cut by 2/3 and are back to levels that we saw in 2018, 2019, when we were having to go through the CRISPR twin controversy in China. It makes no sense because largely because of CRISPR Therapeutics' success in showing us that there are cures out there for disease, beta thalassemia, sickle cell, and the stock's so much lower than when those success stories came out. I think the problem is fears of inflation and valuation. Valuation algorithms seem to be focusing only on valuation, and it's just been one way down, frankly, and with no thought. It's been indiscriminate. And we think, if you are right, Sam, and we believe you're right, that the roaring 20s we will in hindsight look back and say, wow.
If I can add to that, what also if you say, which is to put it all in context, the entire market capitalization of the top 20 pharma companies is 2.5 trillion. And the entire market capitalization of all the biotech companies out there is less than $1 trillion. Combined, it's the same market capitalization as one Apple. If you think about all the advances we're making to improve human longevity, to treat diseases, improve quality of life, that all adds up to a lot more than I think communications and everything we're doing with our phones. And so I think there is a mismatch in how we're looking at the industry overall, how we're thinking about value created. And frankly, I think there's a bit of a lag because people think it's a regulated industry and there's a time lag to value recognition until you get to the market. But I don't think that's the case with this pace of innovation. And I think certainly you'll see more broader recognition of the biopharma field in general. And I think people taking notice of all the innovation because it's more of a patient-centric, it's niched sort of innovation. It's not like you're seeing it on your phone every day. You don't get that broad-based awareness. Obviously, with the COVID pandemic, everyone now has seen the power of what biotech can do for humanity. But I do certainly think that there's going to be a more broader recognition of all the innovation that's happening over the next few years.
So as you saw in that video, Cathie Woods was lamenting about the fact that market has become very algorithmic trading oriented, and the algorithm is focusing purely on valuation, and the valuation is driving the price of CRISPR shares down. And she lamented that we had better value before we had all these innovations that were declared in the FDA trials that we are in. So it's really crazy, and I agree with her 100% that it's crazy. But here is the fact that I realize that majority of the market is following a particular philosophy, and it's valuing companies which are already paying dividends, which have got cash in the balance sheet, which have an established product, and which can command the price that they require in order to maintain their profit margins. And the reason the market is doing that is because they are seeing the interest rate hikes coming in, and they want to flee into better quality. So that's the reality, and the reality cannot be changed until the underlying factors change. So having said that, now let us look at what Samarth Kulkarni was saying. His lament was basically that we in the CRISPR sector are giving you cures which are going to improve your quality of life, which are going to cure diseases that couldn't be cured before, which are going to provide you one-shot treatments that can cure maybe blindness, maybe sickle cell anemia, maybe diabetes. Shouldn't that be worth more than a smartphone? And he continues to say that if you take the valuation of all the CRISPR companies together, it's less than the value of one Apple. So for that, what I'm thinking is that Apple has got a worldwide market where its phones sell across the globe. Everybody across the globe knows Apple. And whenever Apple is coming with a new product, people line up outside the showroom, they do advance booking, and there's a scramble, mad scramble to get the product. Apple is known for its user-friendly interface and beautiful, elegant design. All these things are there. Apple has heavy cash in its balance sheet. It can buy other companies. It can do more R&D. And if it were to start a electric car division, that's just going to pop the value of the shares. And Apple has the means to do that because they have the cash in the balance sheet, brand recognition, and a global presence. So if you compare that with what CRISPR companies have right now, many people do not even know the names of the CRISPR companies. Even people who are players in the CRISPR investment field, ask them to list all the CRISPR companies that are in the market, they wouldn't be able to name all of them. They'll miss half a dozen or 12 or 15 of them. And the market is not that big though. So that is the situation in terms of recall. In terms of balance sheet, many companies are going to exhaust their money doing the research before monetization happens. There are few companies like CRISPR who have got good amount of money in their balance sheet. So that is the situation when it comes to CRISPR companies, and that's why we have the valuation the way it is. It's not that if people are given one-shot injection to cure blindness or diabetes, that they will pay less than an iPhone. In fact, they'll pay 100 times more than an iPhone. But the problem is that product isn't here right now. All we have is a promise that it's going to happen. And those of us CRISPR investors who are invested and who are still staying strong out here, we firmly believe that it's just a matter of time and it's going to happen. And that's why we are still invested in CRISPR. But most of the market is not like that, right? So here I would like to bring a personal anecdote of mine. So throughout my career, right, I started my career as a general manager, and then I became a technology project manager, especially in wealth management field. And finally, in my retirement, I became a real estate broker. I'm a real estate investor also. So in my line of business, I find a lot of buyers who want a good home. And in Toronto, as you know, it's the most expensive market. And in this market, average house costs maybe 1.3 million. And people want a house. And I show them a place and they look at this house. The house is beautiful in all aspects, except that it's run down on the inside. The hardwood needs to be replaced, the appliances are old, and the walls need painting. Now people look at that and they say, oh, I don't want this house, it doesn't have the energy, it doesn't have the feel, I don't like it, I'm not buying this. And the same people keep on searching for 3 months. Whereas there's another kind of buyer who is basically an investor or a flipper. They are in search of exactly these kind of houses which are run down but have good bones. They come and look at it and they are willing to pay the 900,000. They'll buy it. They'll replace the hardwood. They'll put new appliances in place. They'll get somebody to paint the whole place, bring it back in market. And when they bring it back in market, they'll put nice staging, put a sofa and other things and make it look really beautiful. People come and look at it and they sell it for 1.35 million. So they bought it for 900,000, spent 100,000 and sold it for 1.35 million. This is the kind of psychology that is operating in the market right now, in our CRISPR market also. All those investors who are going after value and pushing for things like Microsoft, Apple and all, they are looking at the totally finished house, renovated house in good shape. What we as CRISPR investors are doing is we are holding on to the shares and providing cover for these CRISPR companies to continue their work and monetize. The moment they monetize, which I think is likely to happen at the end of 2022 or the first quarter of 2023, I think that Vertex and CRISPR Therapeutics will be first off the block with the sickle cell cure, and it would get monetized. And when it happens, immediately the market will start visualizing what it feels to have a monetized product which can offer one-shot cure for sickle cell anemia. And believe me, if my thoughts are correct, if my logic is correct, many governments will offer this therapy free of cost to their citizens, and they will buy it from CRISPR and Vertex, because it's going to save the governments a lot of money in terms of healthcare and other expenses that they would have to incur for these patients if they didn't get a one-time cure. So once the market looks at that and actually sees the proof of concept, they're all going to come rushing in. And that's the time when we CRISPR investors will realize the value. And our CRISPR stocks can be a very, very good solid foundation for our retirement portfolio, because this is not too far off, 2 to 3 years away at the most. I also believe that a lot of major pharma companies are very closely watching the CRISPR space. The option in front of them is to start doing their own CRISPR research by starting a separate division and investing money in it and starting from scratch, or to take over some of these CRISPR companies which are in advanced stages of innovation. Some of them are in phase 2 clinical trials, some of them are in IND submission. So if the share prices of these CRISPR companies drop below a particular level, I'm pretty sure that some of these pharma majors are just going to swoop in and take over those companies and amalgamate them into their cell biology division and continue with the research, so that it can help them to transition from the traditional symptom-based medicine to the root cause curing biotech medicine that these companies, CRISPR companies, are producing. So that's my thought. I have been able to identify someone who is willing to come for interview in this channel. It's a good old friend of mine. He's an associate professor in an American university. I'll give you more details later. One of my main challenges is that our channel has just got 100 subscribers. So when I approach people for interviews, it's very difficult for me to find someone who is willing to come in, because we have very low subscriber base. We need to increase that number, and I would like to request all of you who are viewing these videos that there are many of you who are putting a like and you're watching the video, but you have not subscribed. Please take the time to subscribe. We need to increase this number so that we can attract a whole lot of interesting people to answer our questions about CRISPR. So I've already have an agreement with my friend that he's going to come and give us a 30-minute interview. I promised to send him the questions that I want answered. He's actually worked on CRISPR, and he's currently in the research field in biotech. So he's a very good guest to have, our first guest. And please send your questions, the questions that you have about CRISPR that you want answered, and put it in the comments below. Please do that as soon as possible, because I have promised to send him all the questions by end of this coming week, by Friday. So I'm going to hold on until Friday for you to give me the questions, and I'll consolidate them, select good questions, so that within 30 minutes we can have that interview. And if you guys like, and if you have more questions, I'll try to get him back again. And once our subscriber count increases further, I could have a few more guests also coming in and giving us various perspectives. So that's about it for today, my friends. Please do put a like there, it attracts more people. Thanks for everything, and we'll meet again Monday after the market opens. Bye for now.